Hello everyone. So today we're going to have a go at a trial at doing list building. Okay, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to use my World Eaters as an example. They are the army I've spoken most about uh, on the channel so far, so I think we'll go with them. So what you're about to see is a web version of New Recruit, which is an app that me and my friends use to build our lists, and it's what we go off when we're actually fighting each other on the table. So let's move on to that. Okay. I just thought I'd point out, yes, I've shaved my beard. Um, I'm sure you will guess that. Anyway, so these are currently the four armies that I have that you can see on here. Now we're going to start again from a basic one, but we're going to focus on the World Eaters. On the Recruit, you can get this as an app. I think for well, I've got it on Android. I think you also get it on Apple. I would assume so. Now, what we want to do is click Create List here. Excuse me, and this will give us a whole faction thing, and then we do a subcategory over here. Now, when you click on doing stuff like normal Astartes, so like any chapter of Space Marines that aren't Chaos, you need to make sure you click Imperium Adeptus Astartes rather than just Imperium. Okay, but anyway, we want Chaos. Okay, and then in the list it gives us a whole spiel of things that we can build. Now, I have no idea what that is. Probably Titans. We want to have World Eaters done. Okay, we want World Eaters. And then we're just going to give it a name. So let's call it Test List. Points limit here doesn't really like for like skirmish games. It's whatever. We always leave it at 2,000. We have a thing in the group of people I play with that we can kind of go a little bit over. Sort of maybe like at most 5%, maybe even less than that, as you can see in the background, sort of over here. It's significantly less than 5%, but we'll see. Um, we're going to go army roster. Crusade force we don't need unless you're doing crusades, which I haven't done yet, which I really want to. So we fill out all that. You can set this to whatever you guys are going to play as. So if you've got a 1,000 point limit, then do that. If you want to play a game like King of the Colosseum, then that's a 500 point limit. And you just want to hit create list. Now you can see here on this screen that it's a very busy interface. So what we're going to do is we're just going to collapse all these because we don't really need them yet. Collapse all these. Now, if you're building an army that you just want to focus on, say for this, you just want World Eaters, okay? Then this first option here that says Show Hide Options, we can just click this little bin and bin that off. Okay, that allows us to see allied units. I don't have any allied units. I haven't used any with Death Guard, so we don't need to worry about that. The next size is, for some reason, it wants us to select our points limit. If you're playing, your mates, it doesn't really make a difference as long as it's all agreed with. But let's say we'll click Strike Force, 2,000 points there. Now for me, I will have the Blessings of Khorne reference because I'm playing World Eaters. But if I have a look, it's not very well. It's a lot of reading, but it tells you here what you need to roll during your Blessings of Khorne, which at the beginning of each battle round, you roll 8 dice, and you can select up to 2 of these that you can see on the screen, but you must meet the categories. So, um, yeah, so you must meet the categories of what the requirements are, and then you select only 2, and you can have any 2. Any 2. You can have sustained and lethal at the same time. That's pretty good. Um, so uh, yeah. Anyway, next one is the detachment. Now, the detachment, oh, let's get rid of that, is where I would recommend either doing a load of research on YouTube about what your list can do, or buy the book, which mine is down there, so I won't get it. But the book, the Codex, will have, sorry, long day, will have all of your all of your detachments in it, which I will get. Okay, so for us with the World Eaters, we go in the book. We have a look roughly halfway through. Past this. Here we go. So in the book, for example, the first one is Berserker Warband. That's the one we'll be using. But this tells you what your detachment rule is. So every detachment has a unique detachment rule. So, for example, Berserker Warband means that any army that makes a successful charge move, you can add 1 to the attacks and 2 to the strength of every model in that unit. Okay, so that's pretty good. We will click Berserker Warband because that's the one we're going to be doing. Now, I have no experience whatsoever with any of the others. Every Chaos Legion, dedicated Chaos Legion, so that is Death Guard, Thousand Sons, World Eaters, and Emperor's Children, have some form of Demon Kin detachment. Okay, now what this means is you can use models from Age of Sigmar. Okay, in that list. So you've seen my 3D printed Great Unclean one. I have to use the Death Guard version of Khorne Demon Kin, which is over here. But I have no experience with any of the others. Possessed Slaughter Band will, I believe, really, well, obviously, it really helps with Exalted, with 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound, and I believe it helps with Terminators. I don't have any Chaos Terminators. I have none. I don't really like them. I don't like the look of them, so I just ignore them. Anyway, so there's some of the basics for that so far. Okay, next step, what we want to do is we need some form of character to be our warlord. Okay, now that doesn't have to be just a dedicated character. You can also have an epic hero. Okay, now Angron is not an automatic take anymore. Like there was people that basically it's a thing in tournaments where they say it's a must have. It's so effective to the list that you must have it in your list. Angron is not that, I don't feel. However, we are going to select him because he's really cool. And you notice the moment I select him, the character requirement has gone away. Now the reason for this is because if I click Angron and the little eye here, so the little eye will show me all the stats, which if you guys are new to this will be a whole load of gobbledygook. Okay, which I can understand, just please bear with me. I am focused on, where is it? It will be somewhere around in the leaders about him being the big boy, and I cannot find it. Yeah, I can't find it. But he has the warlord keyword. So let's just go with that. He has the warlord keyword, which means he must be the warlord in the army. You must have a warlord, and in this case, it must be Angron if he is in your list. Now, I don't know what impact that has really. I think there was a card, a secondary scoring card in the old version of, or the old 9th edition of Warhammer that meant if you killed the warlord, you got more points. I don't think that's the case now. So that has selected our epic hero. Importantly, you notice that up here it has taken away a certain amount of points. Okay, and we are left with 1,640 points. We can't go over it, otherwise it will complain. So there's our epic hero. Angron is used for charging into people and killing them. That is his job. Okay. Now we need to remember that this game is a game about scoring points. So we need a bunch of units to score points. Now that's why we're going to jump all the way down to the infantry tab. Okay. We'll close the epic hero one. We're going to go down to the infantry tab and we're going to look at the jackals. Okay. Now the jackals have this awesome ability here. Okay. Now what this means is at the moment they touch the objective, that objective is sticky, and your opponent must touch that objective to unsticky it, which is really good. Okay, so I take at least one squad of jackals. Now, in my last fight, I actually took 2 squads of jackals because I needed to make the points up, and I bought them in from reserves on turn 2, and they just about touched an objective. Like one of the models, because you have to be wholly within 6, and the edge of that 6-inch line was on an objective. So I brought them in. They had stuck my home objective, and then they stickied that no man's land objective. So I thought they were really good. So they're going to help you score primary points. Now, what we also would like to do is have some generic battle line units. Now these guys are going to be, well, for World Eaters they're going to be used for killing. You could use them to do actions. I think that's probably a bit silly considering how many we're going to be taking. Um, but we're going to take some Berserkers. Okay, now they come standard as a squad of 10. And on the right here you can see all their war gear, which you can change if you want to. I tend not to, really. I tend to leave them as they are. We have 10. Now in the list last time I actually took 20 of them. I took a squad of 20 like that and a squad of 10. Now the squad of 20 is very good. Uh, there are a lot of bodies, and my goal was to charge, and I managed to do a multi-charge of 3 different enemy units, and effectively I managed to encircle them, which is really, really good for me, because it means I get to use all of the attacks from that 20 blob. Very, very, very scary. Okay, so they're going to do a lot of killing. This squad of 10 was kind of going to go pick on some other things and tie them up in melee. Maybe do some actions if they couldn't do anything else. Um, so that's their job. Now, Berserkers are really good at, um, hitting generic infantry. Okay, they're really, really good at generic infantry, sort of toughness 4 or toughness 5 enemies. Now, if you're going to be fighting higher, if you're going to be fighting higher toughness enemies, you really want to be on the charge for that. You gain the obviously buff to strength and buff to attacks if you charge successfully. So that's pretty scary for them, for the enemy. Uh, so yeah, these are great. Okay, Corn Berserkers. I have 30 of them. You can take up to, I don't know how many you can take. Oh, a lot. So you see here it says 2 out of 6 over here. Okay. Now, I went, I've got Angron, I've got 30 Berserkers and 20 Jackals. Great. Okay. And I'm just about half my points. What I don't have here, apart from Angron, but he's one guy, what I don't have is any anti-tank or anti-vehicle or anti-monster. I don't have any of that. Now, that's where the Exalted 8-bound come in. Okay, they have anti-monster and anti-vehicle keyword, which means that regardless of the toughness of that vehicle, they are hitting it, they are wounding it on a 3, which is really, really good. Okay, you also get this, which means that if you attack a monster or vehicle, you get, instead of being 2 damage per failed wound, it's 3, which is very, very good. So I actually took 2 squads of them. Okay, there is a reason for that, but I took 2 squads. Okay, because I do have 6 of them, so I thought, why not? I might as well take them. So, I think those are all of the infantry and battle line that I chose to take. Okay, now the Exalted 8-bound, like I said, are the ones that you want to be using to take on vehicles or monsters. So if you happen to be fighting Chaos, and they've got, say, a Hellbrute, I think a Hellbrute counts as a monster as well, so and a vehicle, I think. So you would be doing work to that. Okay, they're very, very, very tough models. Very good. Now, you may have seen in a previous video that I have a Forge Fiend. So I decided to take my Forge Fiend. And with the Forge Fiend, I actually gave it the Ectoplasma Cannons. And I have a feeling I gave it the Forge Fiend Jaws for better melee, I believe. So you can change these. They're free. They don't cost you any more points anymore. They used to apparently. So I chose the Ectoplasm Cannons. Uh, they give you a bit of a better chance of killing enemies. Now, World Eaters aren't very good at shooting, and with these, the Forge Fiend will hit on a 4 up on the dice, which is still 50%, but pretty much every other shooting unit well, that's not World Eaters hits on a 3, so it is somewhat disappointing. So I took a Forge Fiend. Okay, now I wanted to use the Forge Fiend to challenge not just tough enemies, because if I remember correctly, the Ectoplasm Cannons, there you go, Strength 10. So they can take on sort of most vehicles and monsters, but not like tanks or anything. I was hoping that they would be able to challenge tougher models, um, as well as having the blast keyword, which means that if they're a big horde, you get more successful hits if you're fighting an enemy with 5 or more troops. So I decided to hit that for that. It worked out okay um, on the field. I would say it probably didn't earn its points, but that was probably how I played it rather than anything else. So we're currently looking in the top left. We've got about a quarter of our points left. Okay, and we are going to add something that is very, very useful for World Eaters, which is a Rhino. We'll add a Rhino. Rhinos are very good, and we will select all the war gear we can possibly select. You get to choose between combi bot or a combi weapon. I choose a combi weapon because they are bad at shooting anyway. However, if I manage to hit on a 4 and then they're infantry and I wound on a 4, it's devastating, which means they can't save it. So if I'm going to shoot, I might as well give it a go and try and shoot good. So the good thing is about these is that that 10 blob can just go in the Rhino. Rhino can move 12, um, and they could get out and charge from there, and that's a pretty scary threat. Pretty scary threat. So we've looked at some vehicles, we've looked at the infantry, and we've looked at the battle line. The only thing we're missing now is some leaders to go around, and we've got about 300, 330 points or whatever to play with. So we have a few options here, and this is where we're going to look at the character tab over on the left. Now, an auto include straight away for me is the Slaughterbound. Okay, now he is insane, and we can kind of ignore the rules for now. He is insane. Okay, he is a medic for his squad, so he can just revive enemies. Sorry, revive enemies. That'd be stupid. Revive his friends if they die. Um, he gets a once per battle ability that gives him 3 extra attacks, which stacks on top of the charge, by the way. So that would go 6 normally, plus 1 on the charge, which makes it 7, and then adds 3 for once per aim. That's 10 attacks that hit on a 2 with strength 10. That's insane. And those weapons, this now has devastating wounds, which is very, very good. Okay. Um, so you also get a deep strike and scouts. So deep strike helps you if you start in reserve. Scouts helps you if you start on the board. Scouts mean before the first person's turn, you can move 6 inches anywhere. That's what scouts means in this case. Scout 6. Okay. So Slaughterbound, very, very good. And what I do is I attach him to one of the squad of Exalted 8 bound. Okay. Now, I could take them in a squad of 6. That's also fine. That would be very, very scary if I did that. By the way, this ability to attach leaders is a premium thing of New Recruit. I decided to take the hit for my group and pay for it. I don't think it's worth it, but I might not be using it to its full potential. So that leaves us with what 350 more points or something. Yeah, 350 points. Okay, we have added Slaughter. Very, very good. So we've got some more to do. Master of Executions is very good if you're going up against a character-heavy army. So, for example, Custodes. Okay, he would be very good. I would attach him to the 10 blob like that. The Master of Executions has precision on his axe, which means that if you're fighting a unit that has a character in it, you as the attacker can choose to directly implement those wounds to the character model, rather than the enemy choosing which models you've killed. So you get to choose, I want that character dead, okay, which is very good. So put him with the 10 blob. That's what I did. Now here comes the piece de la resistance. Okay, the Lord on Juggernaut. Now, the Lord on Juggernaut, um, he is very good. So we're going to add him. Now, what he allows you to do is move and charge. I believe. Um, yes. So you get an increased movement up to 10 inch from 8 for the Khorne Berserkers. They get 10 inches now. And you can normal move, advanced move, full back, or charge, ignoring terrain. you can just ignore it as if it's not there and measure straight through the terrain. Okay, which is insanely good for world eaters. You don't have to go round anymore. You just do it. Now I chose him over Lord Invocatus, who is a premium guy, because I think he's just a bit too expensive. Is it? Is that what the reason was? He's a bit too expensive. He gives you mortal wounds on the charge, but he's probably a bit more expensive than one would want. Okay, you could use him as well though. He basically gives the same thing. And we want to attach the Lord on Juggernaut to the Corn Berserkers. Okay, that's really good. Now we have 200 points left to play with, and currently we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty damn good. Now we could add a few other guys on their own. Okay, however, what I think you should add is the Demon Prince of Corn, and that takes us straight up to 2000. Now the reason I want to add this guy, okay, is if I look at his profile, while this unit is within 3 inches of one or more World Eaters infantry, you get low knock. So low knock means you can't be shot unless the enemy that's shooting you is within 12 inches. Okay. Um, you also get this one, is that if you charge something, you get devastating wounds. Okay, on the one of the two that you pick on the melee weapon. Okay, and you get well, for the most part, a free stratagem. Okay, um, on any unit that's within 12 inches of this model. Okay, now it says it reduces it by 1. Most of them are 1 CP, so effectively makes it free. Don't be confused though, this doesn't mean you can use it the same stratagem more than once in the same phase. You can't do that. Okay, it just means that you don't pay CP for it, which is really, 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 really useful. Okay, that is what I would build. Okay, and what you have here is a really even list, ladies and gents. You have a really even list of being able to fight tough enemies, mow down weak enemies, and still do actions. Okay, and still score secondary points. Okay, because scoring primary points is all well and good if you have great board control. Being able to score those secondaries as well, really, really, really useful. That Demon Prince of Corn could do that. Okay, as long as he's within 3 inches of something, you could have him doing a secondary action that the enemy can't stop because they simply can't shoot you if they're too far. Even if they could see you in direct line of sight, they just can't shoot you. So it's a really, really, really good. You can shoot back, by the way. Yeah, you can shoot them. They just can't shoot you. Angron is definitely an optional one here. You don't have to take him. If you feel like you want to have, say, another pack of Exalted 8 bound and uh, Lord Invocatus instead, you could definitely do that. Lord Invocatus can lead Exalted 8 bound. So you could do that. If you want to change them for normal 8 bound, okay, which normal 8 bound, a little bit different. They are not anti-monster, okay. They are, well, not anti anything. They are supposed to be infantry killers, um, and if you you get to reroll some of your hits against anything that's not a vehicle or a monster, uh, and I believe if they're damaged or battle shocked, you get to oh yeah, there you add 1 to the wound roll. So um, that's really really good, really really good. Um, so that's what I would do. Okay, I love Angron. I know he's not an auto include anymore, but I love him. I think he looks great on the field, and it's funny to watch him kill an Imperial Knight in one fight phase. So that's what happened with me. Um, so that's what I would suggest, ladies and gentlemen. I would suggest that list. Okay, I think that's fairly balanced. So thank you very much for watching. This has definitely been a longer one, I think, than normal. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you would like another list or a list for one of the 3 armies that I have, I can't do Necrons, I don't really understand them, but if you want a one for the Space Marines and the Death Guard, then please let me know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.